again. Grandmaster Amin Ra here, coming to you live from Mombasa, Kenya. Just got back from Nairobi, where I spoke to one of the prestigious universities, Kenyatta University, one of the most prestigious universities in the country, and by far one of the largest. And was there for a martial art promotion, a Kempo promotion rather, and me being the Grand Master, I had to be there. Oh, we're gonna have trouble with this line right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, we're going to have trouble with the line. It's telling me to wait while they try to reestablish the connection. And it was fine all day. Okay. I'm getting a message from YouTube that the line was unstable. Now it's back again. I'm giving to you from Mombasa, where it is about 7 p.m. And this is like a high peak for people to use the internet. People use the internet on their phones in Kenya a lot. And when they're at home, they tend to do a lot of internet usage. I know if I was at home, I'd be doing it too. And so I don't know why the line just clicks off like that, but we seem to be okay. Today's topic is 5 reasons why Black Americans should choose Kenya as their next new home in Africa. Now, a lot of Black Americans are having a lot of problems in the United States, and they tend not to connect the problem with the economic situation in the country. And they view Africa from an old model, an old standpoint. I mean, the old propaganda was that it's poor or the people are savage, or you see. Now, later on, propaganda came out, oh, the Chinese is taking over, these kind of things. Kind of propagandas have been squashed. And now it is becoming a sign of, well, let me go see for myself. And for sure, Black Americans are coming to see for themselves. It's not going to make the headline news, but neither is the fact that more Kenyans and Africans are leaving the United States and coming back to Africa than ever before. Oh, you're going to hear the statistics about how many Africans are trying to fight their way into the United States, but you won't us get passports and leave our home areas in the first place. But let's face it, if you have a country that is economically dying out, it comes a point where, especially if you're in your 20s or 30s, that you should make you have to make a life choice decision. That are you going to try to hope things get better where you are, or are you going to have to move for the sake of your new family or your existing family, so that your children can have a better chance at life? Now, history has shown us that America is not going to turn around. Okay, economists are talking about a pending recession and all that, and I know that a lot of that stuff is just political fervor and propaganda put out there in the hopes that they can remove Trump from office. So I know that, but that doesn't negate the fact that blacks have been catching hell, and our numbers are reducing. And our economic situation is not improving at all. So however the numbers are in America, real or exaggerated, when you look at the numbers over time for Black people, our numbers are going down. So responsible black people who have no real sincere ties to the United States and don't feel that they would be doing an insult to their slavery ancestors if they left America, then that'd be the case. That they would, look for opportunities outside of the United States as a place to live. And we've been doing that. Blacks have been moving all over the place, looking for a better place. It's just that the propaganda was so thick on Africa that, you got blacks going to Brazil, South America, many of blacks moving to Mexico, some Canada, But you find that the situation in America is still the same because one of the impediments that we have is racism. And when you go to some place like Mexico, they expect you to have money. But if they know, like many people know, they'll be polite to you. They'll be hospitable. But as far as getting opportunities for serious work, you will have problems. The connection is unstable. Can't believe it. Anyway, Roscoe Show, why is the super chat blocked, or even other countries? But yeah, from here it can't get. So it seems like it's okay now. If it continues, then we'll have to do this show because this is a very good show. It's back. And then sometimes it's there and I'm okay when I look at the repeat. So I don't know. Let's keep trying because there's nothing on here that's disconnected or connected to this thing. In fact, hold on. Let me check my task here. I'm only down. I see part of the problem. I've got like 10 chromes running at the same time. Hello, algebra greetings. So anyway, the topic is 5 reasons, and I'm on the first reason is that's because Kenya is part of the East African community. It is one of the most powerful economies. Part of that is due to the fact that the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is an economics and political science major when he was in college in the United States. And when he graduated from college, he was groomed to be into politics. And a lot of his economics have really helped the country. Now, as a part of a East African community of 6 countries, a superpower would have to think twice before they came to try to invade any one country in this community. If they invaded Uganda or something like that, then of course the other community countries will retaliate. So it is not easy for that to happen. Now, the U.S. People always want to say that the U.S. can easily come and control a country, African country, and overtake it, overrun it. Look what they did to Iraq. But the East African community is 6 times larger than Iraq. So that is not like it would be the same picnic. And you saw how much trouble the United States had in dealing with Iraq up even to today. They may be able to destabilize it, but they won't be able to control it. So, and then there would be a great hardship in America because, there's so many Africans, and then there's the other superpowers are sympathetic towards African country. They also have lots of investment in the country. So there are white people here also too. So a superpower, it would be silly. So this thing of thinking like, oh, if the Kenyans grow to a certain height, then America will just come and take over or bomb it out of existence. No, no, it's not like that. Black people are too well entwined in African society to allow that to happen and go and keep quiet. Imagine what Stevie Wonder and those guys did with apartheid. It was literally blacks that came out against apartheid and brought the attention to the South African regime. And not to forget that United States government backed all resolutions that came out of South Africa. Whenever there was a vote in the UN, the United States sided with South Africa. But blacks brought this to the attention of the world, saying that no, that's not going to happen, and apartheid had to fall. So that was one country, but here you have a group of 6 countries. Now, on top of that, in June of this year, the DRC Congo applied for admission to the East African community. They're going to do a vote on that in November. So look for the DRC to join into the East African community in 2020. Now the DRC is what 2.3 million kilometers wide itself. Now the East African community as a whole is 2.5 million kilometers. With the DRC included, the community would be larger than the United States with about the same 300 million population. Now that's how powerful the East African community is, and Kenya is in the forefront of that community. So there's not going to be no military strikes or anything like that on one particular area without the whole community saying, look, okay, no more doing business with America. And the people will go for it because they already see what America has done in the past. Now, Kenyans are not interested in that history, but one bomb drop from a superpower like the United States, and the people will quickly get on their phones and educate themselves. No cell phone? Oh, their word of mouth is just as good. So they will see like, okay, now we realize. You see, and America's in the Pentagon, they're tactical people. They know what would happen. This is not, black people are not like Arabs. So, and Africans ain't no pushover. I told you that in the video before. You think they just like dumb. No, they ain't dumb. And when it comes to taking for fooling with their land, no way. That's why the Europeans had to give up on colonialism, because the African, when he got himself to realize that this thing is like unfair, he went from one extreme to another. You know what I'm saying? He'll run. If you burn his land, he'll go away. But if you keep burning his land and he decide that's it, oh, Mau time, it's coming. And that's what happened to the Kenyans, especially in Nairobi. In Kenya. The Kenyans got serious, and they called the British called them Mau, but their real name was Land and Freedom Fighters. And they took blood rituals to fight for their land to the death, and many of them did. And the colonialism couldn't even last 3-4 years once they got going. So the first reason is Kenya is a part of the East African community. Unlike other countries where they're just like independent themselves or are in smaller groups, the East African community is in talks to get its one common currency. Couple that with the African Free Trade Agreement, which is already being put in place. The trade in the region is going to expedite greatly. So, Jumbo Larry, thank you, brother, for the hot shout outs. Okay, thank you, Evelyn. The buffer has stopped. Let's continue. So, one of the great things about Kenya is the fact that its economy is so strong, and the fact that it is a it's a middle income country now, and they're going for the first country status. So having these partners with Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda is something that is of a great benefit, because when you're in one community, you see you can share all the things that all the products and everything amongst each other with very low tariffs. And Rwanda today announced that they've created the first African-made, fully made African mobile phone called the Mara phone. So watch out, Samsung and Apple. We've got our own cell phones, and we can say that because Rwanda is part of the East African community, one of the cleanest cities in Africa, which Kenya was fighting to be. I think Nairobi was number two, with the most cleanest city, number three, and Rwanda had the most cleanest city in Africa, and I know Kenya is right behind it. Beautiful. I was in Nairobi and I traveled in and I saw, the city is very clean. So the first reason is because Kenya is part of the East African community, and it shares a lot of things with the other countries. One of the things that people don't really know about is that they share, when they make a treaty as part of the community, they say, I'm gonna come to your need. If you get in a military situation with another country outside of the community, then the whole community got to come out with their military and say, hey, let's help where we can. So it would, because Kenya is part of that community, there's no pushover, and it's very well protected economically and as far as security is concerned. So again, the size of the community is, once the DRC joins, will be larger than the United States. The size of in square kilometers, and with a population about equal to the United States. Now remember, America is going down while the countries in the African bloc are all moving up in their GDP. Okay, so now number two. The second reason why you should come to Kenya is the economy of Kenya is diversified. There's no one commodity that is overshadowing all the rest of the commodities. Like in some countries, their whole economy, some African countries, their whole economy is based on oil. And if oil goes down and go up in price, then the country feels it right away. Okay. King Haka 123. I noticed converting 3,000 Canadian dollars, I get $1 million in shillings, most in Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. No, Kenya won't be millions. It'll be in the hundreds of thousands. The money in Tanzania and Nigeria have a couple more zeros on them. Kenya doesn't have that. So you need, I used to know all that. Okay, well, you need like 100,000 US dollars would be $1 million Kenya shillings, something like that, because there's 100 to 1 basically in the exchange rate. But you see, if you had $1 million in the United States, $1 million US dollars in the United States, that money is really not a lot of money. You can live barely middle class off $1 million nowadays in the US. But if you had 100,000 US dollars and they made you $1 million shillings in Kenya, and you lived in the middle class, you'd last for like 3-4 years, easy. So that's why it's the lifestyle and the economics. You just have to understand it, and I'll have to do a show on that. So the second reason is the economy is diversified. Kenya has horticulture. We're like one of the number one producers of flowers in the world, and tea is there, coffee is here. I shouldn't say there, I'm here. So petroleum, Kenya is now an exporter of oil. Just had their first shipment go out, 200,000 barrels on the first go, and they made a lot of money, and they're going to be continuing that. So the Kenya economy reaps the benefits. Now, I was here in 2008, and I'm trying to tell you, I didn't even know there was a recession in the U.S. in 2008, 2009. I didn't even know. I was like, why my friends ain't calling me? I'm calling them, they not picking up the phone. I go on Facebook and they're showing like they're partying all over the place, and then I was like, what's this now? You know, why are you putting all these party videos in 2009, 2010? That's what they was doing, trying to, fake rich and hide the fact that they was suffering. So you get friends and my relatives putting all these videos of them having a great time, and they know they were suffering. It's like a mental thing. But meanwhile, in Kenya, the economy was just floating on. The Chinese investment was just kicking in 2006 and 7 and 8, and they had new exchange of power. The new constitution came out, so delegated power to the counties instead of to the central government, and we've been reaping the benefits even since then. So yeah, when the 2008 recession hit in the U.S., people were losing their homes there, but in Kenya, things were just normal. I didn't see anything that said that. Now, however, Kenya was quietly reducing its IMF debt since when Moi was in power. Moi was in power, and he had a real big fight with the IMF because they were yanking all the money. He got on TV talking about how bad it was, and he would never do business with the IMF. And when the new president got in, he helped. He benefits from that. The IMF is just a thief. Most of the bankers are the controllers of the IMF are American, and all they want to do is exploit African countries, and tell them you got to stop corruption in order for you to get the second part of the loan that we promised you. And what country can stop corruption? There's no way. It's a political issue, and it's an economic thing. So the United States was telling Kenya, you got to stop corruption. Stop it. Not even control it. Stop it. And then, so every time Kenya would try to work on corruption, somebody would put some news article out, and then the IMF would say, point to that news article and say, look, you see that guy stole 50 million and you didn't arrest him. So it's like, man, meanwhile, Enron in the United States is killing people. So, it was double standards is what America is good for. A little known fact about Kenya is that Kenya imports more used cars than any other African nation, more than Nigeria, more than South Africa. So people are busy here. And of course, it was in the top 5 African countries that had the fastest growth in IT. Part of that is due to M-Pesa and telecommunications. So Kenya, M-Pesa is a driving force in Kenya. The M-Pesa is a driving force. I'm using it also in my businesses. I couldn't survive without it. I can transact business. Like now, I was in Nairobi. I did a transaction there, and I was so busy with money on one side. The guy who I trusted came in and said, okay, the total came out to this amount. So I was like, okay, I signed and just left. I took the receipts and came back to Mombasa. Now today I go through the receipts and I'm like, damn, this guy, hey, you missing 20 people. It was far more than they quoted for. So I called him on the phone and he was like, oh yeah, well, okay, sorry, I made a mistake. And I'm gonna send you the money. So anytime my phone rings, money will come. You see, it's not like, okay, I gotta wire the money to go to your bank in 5 days. No, it'll become instant like that. This is the beauty of M-Pesa, and Black Americans need to really wrap their head around M-Pesa and learn about it, because you can literally control a business from the United States in Kenya through using M-Pesa, PayPal, and online banking, which is big in Kenya as well. So the second reason is the economy is so diversified, and the fact that situations like M-Pesa is really making it easy to do business. Now, Kenya's allows you to control your profits and your businesses from you can expand your businesses from far. You don't have to be in a particular city, watch over your business. You can hire somebody to run that business in one city, hire somebody to hire, and then you have a central location, and then they send their proceeds through using M-Pesa, and you can get money every night if you tell them to do so. Okay, I know this. Okay, that was already there. So Number two is Kenya's economy is diversified, which means that any one sector gets a hit, it doesn't drop the whole country into poverty, or make the government have to restructure all its predictions in GDP. So that's one of the second thing why Kenya is a good choice for blacks to come to, as far as making it their new home in Africa. Now you have to pick an African country, and a lot of them are picking Ghana, and I won't go and talking about what's the problems with Ghana, but it is a lot easier, a lot cheaper to live in Kenya than it is to live in Ghana. Okay, number three, the business interest in Kenya is virtually endless. Business opportunities are virtually endless in Kenya. Now, I know this for a fact because I'm in business in Kenya and I have been here 20 years doing business, and I have seen it. Now I'm in my 60s and I'm like, man, I see all kind of ways I could have gone. If I had the energy back then, I would be like doing it, But there are a lot of business opportunities. And with the advent of the high-speed railway network opening up in the markets and expanding, all areas, so many areas in Kenya, new areas are popping up, as well as old areas also expanding, and new markets are everywhere. So, okay, AK, how is it? Also, the Kenyan Nairobi and the company will start making Kenyan cell phones and TVs next year. Well, I'm sure that the technology that Rwanda has produced to make a phone is going to come to Kenya. And Kenya's already manufacturing tablets, computer tablets. So Rwanda is very small. It's a very tiny country. So they can, and Paul Kagame has a really good grip on power. So when he can make a cell phone, and people just jump and do it. He's been in power for like 3 elections, and then they voted to change the constitution to let him stay. So he's doing great things, but he's getting older. I can see it. He's getting like Moy, and then it's going to be a problem if he needs to step down. But I think the country will move forward. Not as fast as it's going with him in power. That may never happen, but it will move forward once he's gone. And that's something I experienced also, as far as sharing power is concerned. Anyway, if you like what we're talking about, 5 reasons why Kenya should be your next choice for being your African home, new African home. This is how we support the channel, Western Union. Now, some of you guys are seeing this on you're not seeing this live. You're seeing this as a recording. You see this message, and then you just speed up past this message. Don't do that. Support the channel. You guys, this is how we do it. There could be no YouTube without having the people put super chat there. These groups, all these famous YouTubers would not be there doing this on a continuous basis without funds. And we are so limited here in Africa to find somebody that's really on the ground here like myself, somebody with all the knowledge of business, doing business and dealing with the people, can give you this information. And I'm sitting here now, my dinner is getting cold at home, but I'm saying, no, let me do the show because the people need to know. You know what I mean? And I'm saying, let's be real. Money makes the world go round, and that is the greatest motivator to get your butt out of bed. So I'm saying, help us out. You guys that are regular supporters of the channel, thank you a lot, and we're gonna keep on moving. Let me see this. I gotta move this thing so I can see. Greetings. Do you have to partner with a Kenyan citizen to start a business? No, you don't have to start support. You don't have to have a Kenyan partner to start a business. You can go to ecitizen.co.ke right now. Use your passport or your ID, and you can start a business in Kenya. You can have a legal business. Get your business name together, and then go visit that website. That's how easy it is. to do business in Kenya. Kenya has dropped from 121 on the ease of doing business index in the world and all the way to 61. It's amazing. That is amazing. There's no other country that drops so low so fast because the government is committed to making it easy for people to come here and invest. And this is what we should be doing, especially as blacks. So we're easier to do business in Kenya than it is to do, I don't know, Switzerland and New Zealand. They did a thing on it, a show on it. You can find it on YouTube. So now doing business in Kenya is easier, and it's going to get easier. And with the use of M-Pesa, you just try. It's like it's a no-brainer. You know, they're trying to do phone banking in Ghana. They try to do it in Nigeria, and they're having a lot of trouble. You know, in those countries, especially in Nigeria, because there's too many people. You see, too many chances that things could go wrong. Too many political problems. Too many stakeholders that could be against it. They find reasons not to be part of it. You know, but here you are. Here you are in Kenya. M-Pesa has been here for like 12 years now, and the government just put it together nicely, you know, and voila, you know, it's the same thing here, like with the 1,000 shilling note in Kenya. We had new money now and new bills, and so the government said on September 29th. All the old bills will no longer be accepted. You see, so if you didn't have a new $1,000 bill, if you didn't trade that old 1,000 in for the new 1,000, by the 29th, you just stuck with paperless, worthless 1,000 shilling notes. And you know, people did it really quick. You know, boom. I'm looking around getting my money, and I'm seeing like there's no old thousands anywhere. It's all brand new money. It's amazing. Same with the plastics. The government said no more plastics. Don't sell it. And so I go to the shop, and the next thing you know, I got to carry my eggs in my hand back to the house. You know, it's like, man, when people comply, don't be joking. So when you have that kind of support from the people, so many things can happen. I like your Frank Marshall. I like your analogy about Kenya. You're so accurate. Yeah, brother. Thank you for that. You know, and accurate is the key because if you know me and you understand me, I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know about. And a lot of guys just jump on their shows and they just start talking. But you see me, I got notes, Bunny. I got notes. I'm writing. I'm doing my research. I don't come on the show and just joke with you. I've been doing this since 5 o'clock this afternoon, saying, let me see if this is worthy. Now, some things I put, and I was like, that you don't have to throw it out because I couldn't prove it, and I don't have nothing to back me up. So when you come to my little small tiny channel, we're here, and you're gonna get the right information because there's too much propaganda that's out there telling us nonsense. I don't know why people trying to hurt us with all of this propaganda. But on the flip side, the haters have been few. Have you seen my chat? The haters, like, they just disappeared. They see the writing on the wall, and they're deciding, like, okay, let me not attack these guys because they might be. Let me not attack these guys that are trying to help because they might be our only hope. That's what haters. Haters just love to make jokes and put you down and hurt. But you see, they just kind of somehow, on my channel at least, they disappeared. So here we are. We're talking about 5 reasons why Kenya should be. I shouldn't say should, huh? You should look into Kenya as your new African home. And I promised myself I wouldn't talk bad about Ghana, but if I slip, forgive me, okay? You Ghanaians that love Ghana, God bless you. But you don't have high-speed railway. You don't have. Okay, let me stop. I'm just going to talk about Kenya nice things. Okay. So anyway, number 3, we're talking about the business opportunities are virtually endless in Kenya. I did a video here you can look at my videos, and there's one where I'm just showing you the list of jobs, and it just scrolls down for like 5-10 minutes. Just jobs available. And I know I shouldn't say this, but this thing of being a foreigner and getting jobs from Kenya, it's not serious like that. They're very relaxed on dealing with foreigners, and they give you an opportunity, man. especially if you're black, you're going to get an opportunity. People going to give you the slide. You know, I know I shouldn't say that, but I just want to kind of get you out there. You know, we in America, we feel like, damn, I mean, if you don't have the right paperwork, if this shit ain't typed right, if it ain't got all, if your documents ain't perfect, you know, you reject it. But a lot of that is due to racism, I have to say. A lot of that has to do with racism, classism. You know, they got ways that people are strict, much more strict in America than Africa. So you see, like, okay, the law says you can't hire foreigners for more than a week. But you go there after a year and the person is still there, nobody's saying anything. That's the kind of way Kenya is, and I'm giving it to you straight from the ground level. So don't come with, I gotta get the right citizen, I got to have the right paperwork, I got to be a citizen, I gotta get my visa gotta be, you know, it's not that serious over here. Nobody gonna be knocking on your door like you're under arrest because your paperwork is not right. That's just unheard of. If you a nice person, you do proper business, you stay out of trouble, you know. I'm not saying you shouldn't do your paperwork. You should do your paperwork. You know, I'm doing my paperwork because it has to be done. But I'm saying nobody's gonna come in and you're too late. You know, you passed the deadline. You know, America with all them damn deadlines and secret rulings you didn't know about, then you get caught. Did you know if you wear a red shirt to court that you considered contempt of court? I'm like, what? Yeah. So I just want to point that out. So anyway, if you don't know this, I'm gonna say something else about Kenyans. As far as the business opportunity, Kenyans are hustlers. That's right. You heard it from me first. These people are hustlers. When you come to Kenya, you just need to come here. First thing you're gonna see is Kenyans is everywhere, moving, going someplace, walking, driving. Like I told you, they number one. Kenya imports more cars than any other country, more vehicles. That's imported vehicles is one of the greatest imports in Kenya. They're always busy, moving and going from any town. I was coming from Kenyatta University on the freeway, and you know, you can look out and see the different towns as you're driving. And you know, after so much, it was, you know, it's like one block, and then there's a major road. Then you go a little further, you can look down and see the major roads. So every major road was full of people walking the street. I was like checking it out. I was like, damn. Then I was like trying to see like maybe there's a road that there's no people on, and there's nothing like that. Every road for like 20 minutes. When you pass down, you look down across the freeway and see into the town, you see like people is everywhere, busy on a Saturday. So Kenyans they hustlers. That's why you find them. There was some issue in Russia, the campus caught on fire, and the people jumping out the windows. Who were they? They was Kenyans. Damn, even in Russia. So it ain't like you see them. They number two in America. When Bush was in power, first president he saw was Kenya. When Obama was in power, he had to come. They made him come to Africa, and he didn't go to Kenya. He had to make a personal visit to Kenya because Kenya is serious. These people are not joking, man. But anyway, even in my business dealings, I deal with Kenyans, and you know, these guys is on the ball. I mean, I can't. If you see a lazy Kenyan, then take him to the hospital because he's sick. If you find a lazy Kenyan, that guy, something wrong with him. You know. Now you can come here. Like I had some brothers that came here, and we was going, touring in Mombasa, in town, and then it was like these guys that was sitting on it was in the morning for breakfast, and then they were saying all these guys, they were just sitting. You know, we drove past the marketplace, and you see like a group of guys just sitting there, and you know, looking like they're unemployed. And the guy's like, "What's wrong with these people? There's nothing for them to do. Why they all sitting?" I told the brother, "Look closely, man. Them guys is tired. Them people are the ones who wake the country up in the morning. They up at 4:00 in the morning delivering goods to all the different shops before they open. So if he would have came at 4 or 5 in the morning, he would see them guys carrying big ass bags on their back. Now, by the time the sun comes up, they done got paid. They waited for the noon crowd to service, because around lunchtime is another wave of business. You know, they got to carry goods again, so they relax and wait. You know, but if you look at them, they sitting, but they ain't sleeping. They looking around. You know, because if somebody said, "Hey, I need 3, 4 people to do unload the truck," whoop, they're gone. You get me? So looks can be deceiving, but in Africa, these people are not a joke. Kenyans is very hard working people, and yeah, business opportunities are really there. People say don't you can't get jobs in Kenya. You damn right, because Kenya is gonna outwork you. You know, ain't nobody gonna hire no foreigner to do no serious work. I mean, I'm unique because I can work 12 hours a day, and I still do work 12 hours a day. But the average Kenyan, shoot, they be right there hanging with me. You know, they might fall asleep here and there, get tired. They like, Mr. Ron, I'm tired. I'm going home. Yeah, go ahead. I'm still good. You see, but they can work a 12-hour day, no problem. You know what I mean? So business opportunities are there, and if you should partner with a Kenyan, the better. It's like you have no choice. What you gonna do? Run a business without a Kenyan? It's silly. You're gonna have a business partner, and it's better. The best ones should be Kenyans. I mean, I have business partners here in my businesses that are Black American, and they're just like casual. You know, what's up, man? Nothing. I'm just here working on CC Gate. What about you? How's it going? You see, but I got employees in Kenya. They're looking at me like, Mr. Ron, we need some work. It's like, I got to come up with ideas for them. So business opportunities are great here, and surely they're endless. I'm 61, but I tell you, I see all kind of business opportunities that if I was a few years younger, I could get into. And IT, the IT department is one of the fastest growing fields in Kenya. You know, I can tell you, Kenya is the hub of the East African community, and is also the hub of IT in the East African region. They got 4G speed, believe it or not. I don't know why ours is always having a problem, but 4G speed is here. And I'm sure when 5G comes out, Kenya will be amongst the first countries to get the 5G network. A lot of companies are coming here. Google has a presence. Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg has come to Kenya, looking at M-Pesa, and he still needs to switch over to Facebook so they can we can buy goods with M-Pesa. I'm sure that's going to come along. My program, the CC Gate program, I've been doing business with it. Taking my time, but now we're at the marketing phase, and we have 22,000 plus primary schools where this program could benefit them. And now it's just a matter of me going out and having to educate the people. But 90% of my job today, with the program running and working, is to educate people on the benefits of an IT solution. They just don't understand what a tablet, how it works, how can the program help and then the kid is using it and loving it, and their kids are getting smarter, but they can't seem to connect it. That's because the kid can revise on a tablet and do 500 questions in a day, as opposed to where he has some paper exams that only has 60 questions on them, and he can't even know what answers are right or wrong. So, it's just a matter of time before we start getting the market, but the market is still wide open, and this is IT. If you come here with IT experience, know how to create a database, or you can do all kind of things, man. I'm telling you. So, the largest business in Kenya is Safaricom, which is a telecommunications business, and any fair business that you create has the potential to get people, because the population is growing, doubling in 25 years. If you understand demographics and you understand area growth, you can put up a business and you can see like in 5 years it's going to grow, because the number of people in the area going to increase. You see them building apartments and things like that, then if you see them building apartments in an area and expanding like that, you can look at it and see like that demographic, that area is going to grow. People going to move there and wow, So I've seen it firsthand. Yeah. So it's going quick. So you need to come and get involved in any small type of business. Start small. Don't jump down to be king of my company like Apple. No, you start small with a mom and pop store. Before you know it, you can open up 4 or 5 locations. So it is true, and I'm a living example of that. I started off with one small martial art class, and then I had a conglomeration of 29 clubs I was servicing every month. I had to go from one city to the next city and travel between 3 different cities to service clubs. It was challenging. And the clubs, you go to a club and then you'd be surprised, like, damn, where you get all these students from? Oh, sir. Then you create black belts, and then those black belts come out and they open up clubs, and it's still doing that today. It was still expanding today. Uh, like I said, I was with my chairman of KKF, and he was saying there was this many people, and then the promotion was really, when you really count the numbers, it's like over 100 people promoted. So it's like, man, you know, in one day. So I see it expanding. No one has broken my 163 promotions in one day record, but I'm sure in time, if the numbers are growing the way they are, if you connect all of the temple organizations and put them together, they would have defeated me. But back the country, alrighty then. Yeah, 3 out of 10. I'm sorry, not 3 out of 10. 8 out of 10 is M-Pesa. So I can literally send money to every person I know, or receive money from every person I know in a matter of moments. One day I'm gonna put on my what's up, Master Rodney's 10 bulb. Everybody send me, and I'll see how many people will send me the money. I hope that's not true. Disabled again. Anyway, we're gonna go to number 4, and number 4 is the reason why you should choose Kenya. I'm trying to hope this unstable connection with him. Number 4, the U.S. reason why you should move to Kenya is that the United States is sinking. It's sinking, my friends. You know it. And blacks are at the bottom of the boat. So you know who's gonna drown first. And we are already drowning. Don't get me wrong. You know how you be like, oh, we're coming to go into a recession. We are already there. It's just not officially. You're waiting for the news to tell you officially you're in a recession. But black people are already there. With the onslaught of 50% of black people losing their homes, you got to see that it's a serious situation. You must have an African plan. So, what is the issue of number 4? And what is the problem? When the United States is sinking, oh, I know when I say sinking, that's when the line is going to be disturbed. I think that is YouTube out there listening to me, and then when I start talking bad about the U.S., they cut the line short. But anyway, we have been seeing that. But one of the big things that people don't realize, and I hope I can say this and you guys get it, even though the line is disabled. I mean, this unstable, as it's telling me, is the problem with America is that it has unstable. I mean, oops, sorry. Doesn't it has a very big shortage of affordable housing. Okay. It's saying I wait while they try to correct this reconnecting. Can you guys hear me? Unfortunately, this show is going to have to be short, but we're only going for an hour. So this is number 4. The U.S. is sinking, and blacks are on the lower deck in the United States. So it behooves you to come to a place where you can be in a better situation. And Uh, One of the great things about living in Kenya is that affordable housing is everywhere. Affordable housing is everywhere. So you need affordable housing because it relieves stress on a family or on an individual. One of the things about America without having affordable housing, either you got an apartment or you don't, or you're in a tent on the streets. Kenya has housing that's affordable and it's located all over the country. You really can't miss it, and especially even around the central business districts of cities. You can always see. Okay, and it's nice. It's not like it's something that's like dingy. Now imagine if you're in the United States and you find a house that's the rent is only $200 a month. You know, it's like a small room and a toilet, like a bed sitter, but it's only $200 a month. You jump on that. You know what I'm saying? You can reconsolidate your bills. You can get yourself, you know, pick yourself up, get your credit, you know, established without having to live on the streets. You know, but today what Americans are having to do, they're forced to live with each other because rents are too high. So most people have roommates, or they have to, you know, deal with somebody else, relatives, you know, overcrowding of relatives' homes. A lot of them, you guys have senior parents that are elderly. You're living in their home and spending their social security money, and you know, leaving them in the corner. It's bad. You know, not all of you, but you know, some of you are having that issue. Okay, so maybe that connection unstable is just stuck there. So just imagine when you have low, you know, affordable housing. Now I lived in affordable housing when I was here, when I first came into Kenya. You know, I had my woman, we had our house. The parents took her from me, and then I was left in a big house. And then I met some Kenyans, and they said, "Come with us, come check out our place." So I went there, and I'm like, they live in like one room. The guy had one room, and you know, that same guy today has a 2, 3 bedroom house, car. I ate dinner at his house the other day. Wow, you know, and but 20 years ago, he was in a one room. He was young, didn't have wife, and, you know. And I was like, why am I paying all this money for a brand new house in Komarov when I can get a room in Coyote for, you know, peanuts? At that time, it was only $20 a month. And the way he had a little room set up, it was really nice. You know, you had a little kitchen area, the bed area, you know, it was nice. And so I ended up moving to save money to low income houses, and it was nice. I mean, you know, neighbors didn't really disturb me. Even in Mombasa, when I first met Eva, my wife, Eva is here. This is the one who has this line. When we first got together, we lived in affordable housing. We lived in a one room place in Mombasa, and I think I was paying like $30 a month. And then she got pregnant, and then we moved to an apartment, and then about a year or two later, we had a problem with our landlord, and we had to move back to you know, one room, and we stayed there for 2 more years, got our money all straight, and then we moved into where we are today. So affordable housing is there. It's there to pick you up. You can't really be on the streets in a country that has affordable housing, and Kenya has lots of them. And so it's not really hard to find a room for rent in Kenya. And that doesn't mean like a room for rent in someone's house. It's like they have just rooms, very large rooms in a setting. So you might have like in a Swahili a place here in Mombasa, there'll be like 8 rooms, you know, and then you have your toilet section and your shower section in the back, and you know, you use it now. Nine times out of 10, when I go to the toilet, there's nobody there. because I mean, you don't use how often do you use your toilet if you really think about it. You know what I mean? So now we live in a place we got a toilet, and I got to pay extra money for that toilet and shower because it's mine. You know, but I often think about, the only difference between where we were is that we got a kitchen and now our toilet, and you only use them for like 2 minutes a day, 3 minutes a day, like that. But anyway, affordable housing is there. So sinking is really not as bad as it would be in Kenya if it came down to that, because there's always affordable. If you can't get somebody back home, if you fall on hard times in Kenya, you can't get somebody to give you $30 a month. I don't know what's wrong with you. Hell, if you come here and you get fall on hard times and you need the $30, I can give you, today. But somebody can give you $30. Somebody can send you $100 and that's 3 months rent. You see, now you don't have to worry about food. So I mean, if it gets to that point, it got to the point with me that I didn't go hungry, but economically, it just made sense for me to not have no 2-bedroom house, and I'm, starting a new job somewhere, or my business is trying to get off the ground. So think about that as far as when the economy starts sinking or having a problem. So today, those rooms, they run for like $30 a month. You can get one for $40, $50, on the up. So it's not it's very inexpensive to live in Kenya. Okay, number 5, and the last reason why you should choose Kenya, or Kenya should be a consideration for your new African home, is the people in Kenya are the friendliest and helpfulest people in Africa. Now, you hear people always tell you about Africans, but when somebody asks you, what about Kenya? What do you think about Kenya? What's up with Kenya? Many people, the first thing they say is the people. The people are just generally nice. Now, I have dealt with them in all kind of which ways to try to see how deep that niceness goes. And it goes pretty deep. I can get them mad, but you see, they're not going to be like ready to shoot me. Like in the U.S., you just need one little wrong move and then boom, But Kenyans have very good patience. They don't really gossip like that. So, when you need help, they're there. They have a thing called Harambe. And Harambe is just like when somebody is in need, they say Harambe, and then people come and give them money to help them out of their situation. So, I used to see Harambes and I see people paying Harambes ridiculous money to Harambes until I seemed like it got out of hand. But now when it started camping in M-Pesa, they stopped doing the Harambes. Harambes have now started dying out because you got M-Pesa. So you can just text somebody, help me, and then they M-Pesa you $5 and whatever little money you have, they may have to give you. So the people are friendly. The population has more women than men. So you men out there looking at hookup, definitely Kenya should be a top choice for that reason alone. And the women are great. And I've seen a lot of brothers come here to Kenya, and they get a gold mine. They get a woman, they think they got a gold mine. And I'll be trying to tell them, hey, brother, there's a gold mine every corner. You walking 50 feet, there's another gold mine. Or you thinking like, they hold on to that woman tight. This is my new wife. You see, because we're not used to getting such women. You don't have to hold on. Don't go for the first one that you see. They're all over the place. So ladies also. African American ladies, Kenyan men are here. The new Kenyan man is not like the previous one, the previous generation. Today they got all kind of education on social media, and they're more acceptable towards liberated women. I have a liberal woman. She want to work. She want to do her own things like this and that, and she ain't like sit at home with no conga on, cooking food waiting for me to come home with the money. You get what I'm saying? So the men are more tolerant to that. You got just some upcountry men that just say, my woman shall never work. But you had that kind of man in the U.S. But damn sure America made sure that that wouldn't be the case. No man gonna get a woman that she just sit at home while he go look for jobs, like on the Evans family on Good Times. No, that ain't the case, and then that's the case in Kenya either. So women are free to do a lot of things that they may want, and they do so. So, but generally, Kenyans are family orientated. Most of the successful guys I know all have wives, children. We said we can talk a bit about issues at home, but the Kenyan men won't go too much further than that. That ain't a topic of conversation that they want to have over a beer about the family. So this is one of the greatest reasons why people love Kenya is because of the people, and it has to be like that. African Tigress, I can't see your message. I'm in Ra. How are you? And anybody personally know? I mean, do you know like the Chinese? Is a Chinese your friend? Because they so rare. So how can they? Well, how much damage can they do in our country with 52 million people? 52 million people, 10,000 of them is Chinese. How? Even if a Chinese man went on a killing spree, 10,000 of them, they wouldn't even last like an hour before they'd be all consumed. So I know your head turns when you see them because they're so rare. Like white people in the country, there's a white person, they stand out because it's rare. And if black people was not black, if we had some pink on our forehead, you'd be more rare than Chinese or white people in the country. So definitely, Kenyans are really friendly people. They don't even realize how friendly they are compared to other countries. But I mean, you've got to be a friendly people when a white man come into your country and try to colonize you and kill you, take your land, beat you, and then at the same time you kick him out your country, you take over power, and then you go to City Hall in Nairobi where all the white people that business owners are there, and you tell them, look, I'm not a monster, you can stay. We can just do business like normal. But who would do that? If it was me or if it was somebody from America, it'd be like, you got to go. Like with when the Mandela got in the office, and the people refused to leave until they saw him. They had a large crowd outside of Pretoria, and it was like they're not gonna leave until you come up and say something. So he went out on the balcony and he said, "Oh, disperse, go home. Everything's okay, and we're in power now." Yes, yes, Kenyans are friendly. The buffering, yes. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. It's not my phone because my phone is right here, and it's not even turned on. I'm using the modem, and it still does that. Well, some good messages have this issue. So anyway, so that's what President Mandela did. But if it was me, after they had me in jail for all of many years, and they told me, look, the people won't leave unless they see you. I come out there on that balcony, grab that microphone, I'd be like, kill them all, what the fuck, you see? And if he would have said that, white people in South Africa would be gone today. But instead, he was like, no, be cool. Then he said he's gonna get 400,000 houses. He didn't even do that. Then he made a rugby team and made it so it was a mixed rugby team. Put blacks in rugby. It was a joke, But the Kenyans did when they got in power, they let whites. They gave whites a pass. They even let them do the history and said, look, we're going to put 2 pages about colonialism. And then he make them look like the truth. He made it look like it was happening, like it was a mistake. So the average Kenyan today just look at like that shit. What's colonization? Didn't affect me. You see, same like with the African American. They try to erase our history and make us seem like we didn't build things. We didn't accomplish much. That's what they do. But still we love them. We still got that same African mentality in us, blacks in America. We love them. We love white people. We can't get, we we like serving them. You know what I mean? But that they're a minority, and I understand that. But the point is that the Kenyan people are friendly, and if you come to Africa and you come to Kenya, you make friends, and you're gonna have friends for life. And funny, love to drink and love to have a good time. And I wasn't a drinker when I came here. You know, I'm not a drinker today, but I'm saying when I go out and have fun with Kenyans, I'm gonna have to drink. You know what I mean? So I had my first beer because you can see I was really radical when I was in the U.S. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I was exercising every day. It's part of the reason why I look so good today. People tell me because my life was very clean living from the time when I was 20 up to even today. But I came to Kenya and they put a celebration and they put a bottle of beer in front of me, and I was ready to reject it, but I had already been told don't reject when they bring you, a drink. So you have to drink it. So I'm sitting there trying to scoff down this beer for the first time in my life, and I was finished my first beer with some Kenyan guys looking at me laughing, and then I was like, they're laughing, but damn, what's going to happen when I stand up? Am I going to stumble? Because I never drank like anything like that. But today, oh yeah, man, shoot, I'm the first one. Let's go hang out, have a beer, because a lot of business is done with Kenyans at the bar, and it's a great social activity. Yeah, I get a lot of laughs with people. I've taken African Tigers for Manazi. She can tell you that she's a Kenyan, and she had not been given Manazi when she came to Mombasa. That's a tradition. So funny thing, it's like I flipped, like here's an African American taking a Kenyan for the local drink for her first time. It was like, what is the world coming to? But anyway, we are very lucky to have a country like Kenya to compare with. I suggest that any African American that's planning on coming here take a chance to take a time to look at Kenya carefully. You can't survey the whole thing in one stop. You can't come here for 2 weeks and say I know Kenya. But the one thing you'll be seeing is that the weather is wonderful, the people are friendly, there's not a lot of crime there's not a lot of aggression, people don't fight here. I was on a Nissan and 2 people was outside the Nissan arguing, and then the person next to me, the argument got so heated, the person next to me looked around me to look out and see what they was doing, and I looked at them and I told them, they ain't gonna fight. They gonna argue like that, and then they gonna scream at each other, and then next thing you know, they gonna be laughing. And just as I said that, they start laughing and hugging each other. Kids they're not like that. They're not like, let that be in America. It's like, what'd you say? Bang, bang, or anything can happen. So black on black crime is a part of the hatred that we have, and that hatred for ourselves is directly related to the propaganda that goes on and the poor history that they give us about ourselves. And we need not to subject our children to that if we can avoid it. Kenya has a great school system here. The teenagers are put in boarding schools so that you don't have teenage pregnancy, you don't have gangs, you don't have teenage drug abuse. Because when a kid gets 16, they go off to boarding school. Your house is empty, free. You can walk around naked. Your kids are all gone. You know what I mean? And they're only 15 years in the family. And then when they bring him back 4 years later, you've got fully trained adults. You know what I mean? Responsible. And that's what happened with my son. And my son is working with me here. And it was great because if I would have had to raise him while he in the same house, I wouldn't be able to have affordable housing. Because he was boarding in the boarding school, and I was able to, amass business, I had to do it anyway because, Eva wasn't going to let me stay in the affordable housing forever. But I'm saying there are a lot of great benefits to Kenya. You can't just learn them in one sitting, one trip. You know what I mean? You just have to experience it. It took me a year of living here before I came to realize I was in heaven. I was in a great place. I was where I was supposed to be and where I wanted to be. Before that year, all through that year, it was like, I gotta go back home, or I gotta go back see my relatives, all the people are missing me. Ain't nobody was missing me. Hell, if I'm gonna come live in Africa, I'm gonna be alienated from what my normal family would think about me anyway. You're gonna be alienated from your family because you're different. You know what I'm saying? My family is like that crazy Amin. Boy, he done went over there and lived with them Africans again. He gonna get the message. He gonna come on home soon. He gonna come home soon. Shit, 20 years later, I ain't even thinking about going there. But I have to go to get my Social Security. Hopefully, if America still got it there by the time it due. But I used to say I would never go back to America, but new developments have made me realize that if the things are available, funds are available, they're mine. I worked 15 years in corporate America, so I'm going to try to get that money. That'll make me go back to America for that trip. But if it's not going to happen, if America falls, they already signed a bill that allows them to use the excess funds of the Social Security money. So they already now have a hand in the till. And who knows what's going to happen in 5 years from now, 2 years from now. So let's just wait and see. But I won't say never. I'll never go back to America because that's definitely going to make me attempt to go find out what's happening. So if somebody was hating on me, you'll be seeing me there. I won't tell you when I'm going to America. No way. I'll just be like, hey, coming from America. Anyway, that's our show for today. And I want to thank you guys. And I want you guys to thank me. Okay? If you like the information I've given you, and if you come onto the comment section, if you have any personal questions, I'll be glad to answer them. And you can support the channel because we don't have Super Chat in Africa. And we've tried different ways. So many people are new here, and this is how you help us out. Go to westernunion.com and then put in this phone number, mobile wallet, M-Pesa, contact. This is my wife, Eva. This is the name. So you can put Eva Omani at the end. You don't have to put the middle name. But it's good to put all three names so that there won't be no confusion. So everybody that's basically sent money through this way, it gets to me. So the other way, they were blocking it. People would get, like that. So let's support the channel. Let's show them that you can get some classic information here that can help you make a decision. I got a really great show coming up in the next day or two, and they shouldn't miss that. I saw you slapping that palm wine. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you come to Mombasa, you see, palm wine is not like that. It's not like make you drunk, It's a high without a high. And then if you use palm wine, I'm giving you some deep inside secrets. If you have palm wine and then you put beetroot, and people know beetroot, you know the qualities of beetroot and how it helps you. You in for a good time the whole night. So a lot of times I go out and drink with the buddies that did, and I come home, and my wife was like, "You been at the Nazi place?" "Yeah." "Did you get beetroot?" "Yes." Come to bed. Joking. But yeah. So you can have with beetroot, and you don't have that many side effects. And then of course palm wine would dehydrate you if you don't drink water afterwards. But a lot of clubs, you see people drinking and then they have water anyway because they want that's just the same thing. But it's nothing like a stumbling drunk. You just feel good. So one time the old me would have said, I'll never touch alcohol. You see. But now I'm older. I'm like, how such a ridiculous. I only got one life to live. Okay, what is Hollis Jebby says, what is the process for getting a non-Kenyan citizenship child in primary school in Kenya? Shit, just bring them. What do you mean? Just bring them. I can get them in class the next day. Public school is free here. It don't matter. They don't care what city you come from. I'm telling you, the paperwork issue is not serious. They have so many private schools here. They love for you to have Black Americans. My children are like really, like celebrities because their dad is a Black American. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if you come in with your kid, he gonna be popular. You know what I'm saying? So And if you put him in public school, you don't have to pay. Well, okay, there's some public schools better than others, but probably private school. A good private school in Kenya will run you uh, about $60 for every 3 months. No, about $100 every 3 months. Yeah, a really good one would be like $150, $200 every 2-3 months, every term, 3 terms a year. Every term you pay $200, your kid can go at the top of the line school. No joke. You know what I'm saying? And then you pay a little bit extra money, and then they get a bus. The bus picks them up in the house from your house in the morning, drops them off in the evening. Damn, what kind of? We don't even got that in the U.S. anymore, do we? Where your bus picks your kid up in the morning, drops them off in the afternoon. Man, my kid's school is just in walking distance, so I don't have to pay for the bus. They just walk to school. I remember the time we had to have somebody walk them to school, but nowadays they're just starting to walk on their own. You know. So you just be like, man, sooner or later they'll be cooking the food, washing the house. You know, these young, I got 3 daughters. So I look at them and I'm like, man, in the next 5 years, I don't have to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Except pay to the school the money and voila. You know, because they're growing up so fast. And that's another thing about African family. You know, just time goes so quickly. But if you want to put your kid in a primary school, there's no real issue here. Just come. Don't come in there talking about, do I need blood shots and do I gotta have polio, or what if my kid is not in the right district? That's not the way life works here. So I behoove you to come to Africa and check it out. They have boarding schools for primary kids. I know people that have their primary school kids 12, 13, 10, 11, 12 in boarding school. Now, a friend of mine, I'm telling you, he tells me the kid wanted to go. All their friends at their primary school in the 6th grade, because the primary school goes to 8th grade. But in the 6th grade, some parents are sorry. They put their kid in boarding school in the 6th grade. So by the time they go to high school in the 9th grade, the kid is acclimated into already, into boarding school. And it's an easy transition for them. Some do it in grade 7. See, last year in primary school, because primary school is like day school, then you go to high school, you do boarding. But some parents put their kid in the final year of primary school. They send them to boarding school so that they can get all that learning and do really high score on the KCP exam. So there's so many different variations on how that works. Kenyans are serious about educating their children, and that's another thing. So they'll send them to the U.S. for school in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Or China, or there's 3,300 Kenyans in China at going to universities there. Part of the African-China agreement was that they would accept a lot of Africans to come into the China to go for a further education, and that's what the Chinese, like clockwork, are keeping with their agreement. And the last thing I'm gonna say on this is about China. China just recently did a parade of their military hardware, which after the display of the hardware, it became painfully evident that they are far more advanced militarily than we were led to believe as Americans. They have flying drones, they have ballistic missiles, they have tanks that can do underwater things, and they got all of this. They got transport vehicles, they got far more than what America thought they had. And so on their 60th, I think it was their 60th year anniversary, 70th year anniversary of communism in China, they were showing that we're superpower for sure. And they have more military hardware than America or Russia could produce. And how did you say? Thank you, brother. Thank you. What is the process? Okay, yeah. You're welcome for that information. Anytime, and let's keep this channel going for that. But that's what I wanted to say about China. So America is trying to make it seem like they're number one. I kept on seeing the politicians talk that nonsense, like they got the number one economy. And then they really lie. They just straight out lie to you and tell you that America got the biggest economy by far. China is a distant second. There's nothing like that. China has long since surpassed the United States. Okay? They're fooling you to make you think like America is still your best bet. It's not. In China, you think in Kenya we have M-Pesa. In China, they got the barcode. So they phone, you put up to wherever you want to buy it, and you click it, and it just subtracts the money from your phone automatically. You know, in Kenya, we want to make a transaction, we got to put in the code number, we got to put in the amount. In China, they just put the barcode, it just subtracts the amount right from your phone. Right there, you know. So you go get some food, you just go pick up the food, you know, like you do the scanner, and then that's your food. You know, they got stores in China that don't have clerks. You just go in by yourself, get what you want, and then put it on down and run your phone, click, 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 and then it takes the money directly out of your account. Beautiful system, you know, millions. Remember, China has removed 300 million, the total population of America in 2 decades. China has removed them from poverty. 300 million people from poverty. You're joking. And we can't do that in the United States. It's time to go. Okay, if the United States can't do what China did, don't tell me shit about the #1 economy. That's nonsense. Has private schools, international schools, government schools. Kenya has. Yes, man. Shoot, I've taught in some of them. These international, and I know it well because I have dealt with Kenyan children. So many of them. You know, through martial arts clubs in some of the top schools. So in Kenya, Nairobi University, I had a club. I had a club at MKSMS. I had a club at where else? McKinney Academy. Where else? What's the name of that school? Brayburn. Yeah. So I've been to, and you know, I know Kenyans through and through. And, you know, even me, I got 3 little Kenyan girls myself, so I see them from the way when they was born to where they come out today. And I say that Kenya is the best choice for us. I have visited 6 African countries and studied in those 6 countries, and I realized that out of those 6, and the references and general research I've done in other countries, Kenya is a far better choice as far as most African countries are concerned. This is the country that speaks Swahili. They don't speak Swahili in Nigeria. They don't speak Swahili in Ghana. Now, I said I wouldn't talk about Ghana, but the last thing I'm going to do is talk about Nigeria because it needs to be talked about. One of the problems with Nigeria, and what causes all the problems that you have with all these shysters and criminals and things running around, is because the educational system can't support all Nigerians. And there's a great large number of Nigerians that don't go to school. They can't get in schools. They don't want to be in schools. They self-educate themselves. They don't tend to think education is a value. So you get these mini criminals that run around trying to prove that they're intelligent and academically when they never went to school. A lot of them are self-taught. Don't get me wrong. They're ingenious people. But as far as the government cannot afford to take all of them kids to school, like what is it? 1 in 10. I can't remember the statistic, but it's alarming how many children are not in school in Nigeria. So the large population tends to be, again, you know, it's not an asset in all areas in Nigeria. You got a large population, but a lot of that population is not on the grid. A lot of that population. This is the last time. Oops, sorry. This is the last time I'm gonna show this one. I know you guys hate this paper, but you know, if you're seeing this for a time, you know, we always say, okay, we're gonna end the video now, but we end up not put out today. And a lot of things for people to think about. So no matter, relive the video, it's okay. But if you see this sign, take a moment and think like that. You can www that on your phone as a Western Union app that you can get and then, you know, help us out. So we're gonna, if you were to send support, we'll definitely give you a shout out like we did with Malden, Doron, and Kevin. They send in your little $5, see how it works, and then it inspires me to continue. And trust me, you hear all these guys talk about this, and I'm not the one for begging for money. You know what I mean? I feel, I don't like salesmen myself, but I know the facts that if it wasn't for the people supporting the channel, any channel, not just this one, the person that's doing the channel would not do it. You should remember Phil from that Vice show. He had to cut his channel off for 7 days because he didn't get the support he needed when when YouTube went sideways on him. And a lot of channels went off the air because of the fact that they couldn't get the revenue. Okay, so I'm here to tell you that it's a small price to pay for the content. We got expecting some big things coming up in the future. I tried to do the interviews with the brothers in Nairobi, but we couldn't coordinate. And I was so busy with my activities. And the evening time, when I told them we meet in the evening, I was just too tired. I'm getting old. So it's like, man, let me go to my hotel room and sleep. And then the next day was Sunday, and it was raining. So it was like, we just have to do it next time. Maybe I'll go back in Nairobi in a couple of weeks. On the 12th, I'm supposed to go there. And then after that, we have some African American visitors coming to Mombasa, and I'm sure we might be able to see how it goes. We'll see how they talking. They're coming to visit Kenya and Mombasa for the first time, and maybe we'll get some good interviews from them. So we'll talk more on that later. Nothing really has been finalized yet, but stay tuned. And until the next time, peace.